is Alicia Ault. I'm the founder of Level Up Score, and I'm excited to teach you a tip that I think is going to change how you do business in 2026. So again, thank you for being here. Um, so my title is What Loan Officers and Realtors Actually Want and Why Most Credit Professionals Miss It. I want to go over that with you today, but stay with me because at the end, I'm giving you a special bonus for being here with me today that I think is going to change how you do business in 2026 and really make 2026 powerful for both you as well as a loan officer. So, most credit professionals think loan officers and real estate agents don't send them clients because they don't understand credit. And I've heard this before. People are always telling me that, hey, loan officers don't understand credit. They don't understand, but that's not the real issue. And if you've ever thought, they just don't get what we do or they don't understand how hard this is, right? I want you to stay with me because today I'm going to completely change how you look at loan officers and real estate agent partnerships through 2026. So stay with me because the truth is loan officers understand credit just fine, just fine. What they don't trust is the process. So let's dive into it. Why loan officers aren't referring to you? So why referrals don't happen? Here's something that most credit professionals don't fully think through. I want you to think about this for a second. Again, most credit professionals don't fully think through this part. Every single referral a loan officer makes puts their reputation on the line. I want to think a little bit deeper, and I'm going to go into this on a masterclass that I'm going to offer you at the end of this. But I want you to think about that we are on a public system called NMLS. So when we do business, that is reported on NMLS. So everybody can see it. That can make or break our business. So intentionally, loan officers are going to be careful about what their reputation is, right? So their name is on the line every time that they refer, their credibility, and ultimately their future business. So when they hesitate to refer to a credit company, it's not personal, it's not you, it's professional. And I'm going to show you how you can turn that around. But they're worried about a few things. So, we always talk about how do we get new clients? We look at what the pain points are and we focus on the pain points, help them overcome the pain points. So think about this in terms of relationships with loan officers and real estate agents. They hesitate to refer to you guys because they're worried about a few things. And here's the things that they're most likely worried about. Number one, disputes hurting credit and mortgage outcomes. Don't think about that. But I can show you in the masterclass how disputes can hinder a mortgage process and why loan officers could be hesitant to refer to you. So number one, disputes hurting mortgage outcomes. Number two, timelines getting blown away. So, a lot of times mortgage lenders will take things into their own hands because they understand the timeline that they're working in, and they're not sure that a credit professional will understand that and may blow those timelines out of the water. And number three, clients never coming back qualified. Now, this is probably the most one that I hear from loan officers. When I talk to loan officers and I ask them the question, which I've interviewed many loan officers. I went to a tag event back in 2025, and I spent my entire time at the tag event, other than listening to some amazing speakers and going to the T-Pain concert. I sat and interviewed loan officers. And one of my number one questions that I would ask them was, why don't you refer to credit professionals? And they were very candid on their answers. And of course, they resonated with me because I'm also a loan officer, so I understood that. But the number three that I just said, clients never coming back qualified, is their number one response of why they do not refer to credit professionals. So how do we turn that stuff around? How do we turn that around to empower you as a credit professional to partner with these loan officers? That's where I'm going to dive in today. So again, please stay with me because I think this is going to change everything you do in 2026 if your goal is to work with mortgage loan officers. And keep in mind, once a mortgage loan officer has one bad experience from a referral, guess what? They're not referring to you anymore. So let me go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint slide that I have created for you guys because I think that'll help me stay on track. And give me just one second. Make sure that you get the information that I want to cover with you. Okay, so the title again is What Loan Officers and Realtors Actually Want and Why Credit Pros Miss It. Again, my name is Alicia Ault, founder of Level Up Score. I'm really excited to bring this content to you today. So segment one I want to go to is the real reason loan officers and real estate agents don't refer to credit professionals. We talked about that, but most credit professionals think loan officers don't send referrals because they don't understand credit, and that's not true. We actually understand credit pretty well. We have an automated system that I'll go through in the masterclass, but we have an automated system that tells us exactly what the client needs to do in order for them to get a home loan. Did you know that? If you didn't, that's something you should know. Loan officers don't avoid credit pros because of ignorance. They avoid them because of risk. Remember, I talked about just a second ago of, their name is on the line, their credibility, their future business, right? This is how they make a living. So credit knowledge isn't the problem, process trust is. So it's not that they don't have enough credit knowledge or know that your job is hard or know that you got a lot to do when working with an individual on their credit. It's not that. It's not that they don't know that. They understand that because they understand that some clients don't do what they tell them to do, right? But the process trust is where they are blocked when working with you. And so we're going to, again, like I said, dive into that. So the referral resistance here is what I said earlier. Their name is on the line, right? Their biggest fear is disputes hurting mortgage approval and eligibility, timelines getting blown, clients disappearing or never returning qualified, or even worse, clients not liking the credit professional, having a bad experience with them and putting that on the loan officer. So every referral a loan officer makes puts their reputation on the line. Really, really important for you to know that. Loan officers are measured on outcome, not effort. Now I want you to write that down. If you have notebook and paper right now, I want you to write that down because it is something that I think most of us don't even consider when we think about loan officers referring to us. So I call this the outcome, the effort versus outcome. I'm going to go into that a little bit more in detail, but circle that, write that down. Loan officers are measured on outcomes, not effort. I talk a lot on these lives about having a niche and saying, okay, you're coming to me, you're here and you want to get here, and my journey is going to help you get here. That's the promise that I'm saying that I'm going to deliver when I say I can help you get from here to here. That's the outcome. That's what the loan officer is getting paid on. That's their measure is the outcome, not the effort, not the hard work it took, not the journey that you're taking them through, but the actual outcome. So I need you to really think about that and think about that in your own business. Are you getting people to the outcome, which should be a priority in every business, right? So loan officers don't want a credit repair company. They want certainty. Borrower readiness versus credit repair. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to go back to this effort versus outcome idea. And this is a really important distinction because most people in the credit industry don't fully think this through. That's why I want you to write it down. That's why I want you to circle it, underline it, do whatever you need to call attention to this. Most credit professionals get paid on effort. True? You get paid to pull credit reports. You get paid to review trade lines. You get paid to send letters. You get paid to track responses. And you get paid to follow a process over time, right? Whether the client actually buys a home or not, the work still happened, you still get paid. And that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's just a different compensation model. So let's look at the loan officer. They get paid for effort. They don't get paid for effort, right? They get paid for outcomes. They don't get paid for reviewing credit reports or files or credit files. They don't get paid for pre-approvals. They don't get paid for phone calls. They don't get paid for giving advice, and they tend to give a lot of advice. They only get paid when loans close. No closing, no paycheck, right? So when a loan officer refers a client to you, they're not thinking, is this person working really hard for my client? They're thinking, is this person, this credit professional, getting my client to the closing table? Again, they care about the outcome, right? And that's why effort doesn't build trust in their world. So when you talk about how hard your job is or what all the things that you're going to do for this client, that doesn't resonate with a loan officer because they are not paid on effort. They do a lot of things too to make a loan happen, but they don't get paid unless the loan actually happens, right? And so they don't judge things by the whether it was easy or it's hard, it's whether it got done or it didn't get done. right? And so if you think about that in your business and you're working with loan officers, you could talk till you're blue in the face about how much work it takes to help someone get to their credit and all the obstacles that you have to overcome with the client and blah, blah, blah. But the end result, if you're not translating all of that into the outcome that the client comes back to the loan officer as a qualified borrower, then everything you just said doesn't matter, right? Because they can say the same thing. I work really hard all day long to help people get in the right loan, review income, put a file together, run them through AUS, do this, do that, do this. But in the day, their boss doesn't care how much work they did. Their boss cares and their paycheck cares about if the loan closed or not. I hope that is starting to sink in as you start to think about working with loan officers. From a loan officer's perspective, a referral isn't help, it's risk. They're taking a risk by referring to you because the credit process delays the timeline a lot of times. It lowers a credit score at the wrong time. I've seen that so many times, or causes a client to disengage, or a dispute that shouldn't have been disputed that actually caused a problem in the whole mortgage process in the first place. I don't know how many times I go on to different social platforms of credit repair groups, and someone's asking, how did I get a dispute off of a credit report? The mortgage loan officer can't move forward without this off of there. That's a problem. I'm sorry, that's a problem. There is a time and place when someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm working on my credit so I can get a home loan. There is a time and place, and we'll talk about that in my masterclass of when to dispute and when not to dispute. Not everything should be disputed. And I know, if we're being honest, a lot of us go, it's negative. Let's find an error and dispute. It's negative. Let's find an error and dispute without looking at some very important pieces to that credit file to determine whether or not you should even touch it or not. And that's what I'll teach in the master class. But I want you to wrap your head around this because it oftentimes causes issues with a mortgage loan file. And if you want to work with a mortgage loan officer, you need to know these things. You got to know these things. Otherwise, you're going to be hurting that process, and the end result, you're not getting the person to the outcome that the loan officer needs you to get them to. So none of that hard work that you're rapping about matters. Okay. And so again, this is for those of you who really want to work with loan officers and real estate agents. I encourage you to get on that masterclass on Friday. I'll talk more about how you can get involved in that masterclass, but I'm just telling you, you don't want to miss the masterclass on Friday. Okay. Change your schedule if you need to. You don't want to miss this if you want to work with loan officers. Um, when we talk about this, loan officers don't just lose time when they refer to you as a credit professional. They actually lose income. If you're not bringing them back as a qualified person, they're losing income. Now you can say, well, it wasn't income for them in the first place because they had to send them to me. Let me tell you something. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. We have our own tools. We can do it ourselves. We can do what you guys are doing ourselves as a loan officer. And I'll go into that in a little bit further detail, but I'll also tell you the big loophole in that. Okay. So don't think that we don't have tools. We absolutely 100% do. So referring to you as a risk, unless, and I'll talk about what I call the big reframe. You reframe who you are. Okay. So remember this: when a loan officer hesitates to refer to you, it's not judgment of your skill, it's protection of their livelihood. And once you truly understand that, when you truly understand that, you stop trying to prove how hard you work and you start positioning yourself around outcomes. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. It's actually quite easy once you know a few key, very important things that you need to look at as a credit professional. And then as a partner with the loan officer, what you need to do, some key things. Once you have those, it's actually really easy, but you got to know those things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So here's the big reframe. Oh, see, here we go. And I just said it earlier, borrower readiness versus credit repair. Borrower readiness versus credit repair. This is the big reframe. And I want you to make sure you take this away with you today. If you take nothing away from this live, take this away. Loan officers don't avoid credit professionals because of ignorance. We know enough about credit. I always say we know enough about credit to hurt sometimes, but we have tools, okay? They avoid them because of risk, right? We talked about that before. They don't want to wonder what's being disputed. They don't want to wonder why it's being disputed. They don't want to wonder whether it's going to help or hurt their loan file. They don't want to wonder if the client is actually doing what is supposed to be done. They don't want to wonder that. What they want is certainty. And that's what you can offer them as a borrower readiness professional rather than a credit repair professional. So once you understand that, everything about how you position yourself can change. And so I'm going to give you a reality check here because I talked about the tools that loan officers have. We have lots of tools, but most specifically, we have something called Wayfinder and Score Navigator. Now, these tools are very helpful for us. We also have the AUS system. So for instance, if I pull your credit and your credit is subpar and I'm not able to even try to put you through an AUS system for automated approval, I can send you through a system called Wayfinder or Score Navigator. And these tools will help identify what needs the client needs to be do in order to get the score they need to open the door to buy a home, right? So they can be very powerful. But there's a problem with them, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Secondly, let's say you are maybe on the brink of being able to be approved. Maybe this credit score is there or not or close to there. We can run you through an AUS approval, which will tell us the exact things that we need to get that loan approved. So these are very powerful tools we have that I think credit professionals don't actually think about. We're not sitting there in the dark saying, oh, credit score is not where it needs to be. It can't get the loan done. Like we have some very powerful tools. But this is where you come into. Wayfinder and Score Navigator, for instance, is a one-time snapshot. It's expensive. There's no accountability. There's no behavioral change, and there's no relationship continuity. So circle that. There's no relationship. There's no journey, in other words. Okay. It's a one-time snapshot. So these tools are not solving the real problem for the loan officer unless the loan officer wants to be the accountability person, wants to help with behavioral change, and wants to continue that relationship, and which a lot of them do. Okay. However, if a loan officer is wise, they want to be able to hand that off to a professional to do because their job should be making more loans. Okay. And so that's where you guys come into play. You guys can come into play to substitute those tools that the loan officer has. You guys have them too. Level up score, right? If you don't get it, because you'll have it too. It's not expensive. It provides accountability. It provides behavioral change. And it helps build that continued relationship with the client and the loan officer and you. It all does that all in one place with Level Up Score, right? And so that's why Level Up Score is so powerful in being that missing piece to what loan officers need so desperately. But they need you because even with Level Up Score, they still need that guide. They still need that person to hold the hand. And that's where you can be the real tool where these loan officer tools that we have are missing. Okay. So we talked about, the real issue is not that loan officers don't understand credit or that they don't have tools. We do, right? That's not the real issue. But we do avoid credit professionals because of the risk that it could take, right? We do avoid them because we do have tools. Whether they're good or not, we do have some tools, right? So if we feel like the risk is too high, we use the tools. Credit knowledge isn't the problem. The process trust is. And so that's why I think having tools yourself, like Level Up Score, and some of the things I'll teach in the masterclass are so important because then you'll have this process that they can trust and they're going to refer to you like crazy because they know that you're going to help drive the outcome. Okay. And so that's what I want to talk to you about. So the missing piece is you, it's the journey. LOs want visibility, they want confidence, they want progress that they can trust. And what's missing right now is ongoing engagement, motivation, accountability, documentation. All of that is wrapped up in Level Up Score to help you as a credit professional bring that to a loan officer and say, hey, I have all this. Okay. So credit improvement is a journey, not a report. It's not just the plan. It's, hey, this is a journey. This is a process. This is a partnership. And that's what I'll teach you in the masterclass. How can you be that missing piece? How can you provide that journey for the consumer to bring them back to the outcome of getting that mortgage loan? All right, so we're going to go into what I call segment 3, how to position yourself as the missing piece, the new positioning. And so I already kind of told you this, so no secret. Stop being a credit repair company. Find your niche. If you want to work with loan officers, you want to work with loan officers. Stop trying to work with everybody. Work with loan officers. If you decide you want to work with loan officers, then you're not a credit repair company. You need to reposition yourself as a borrower readiness partner. Keyword partner. You're a partner, and I'm going to teach you how to be a partner with loan officers and how powerful that can be for both your organization and their organization. It's amazing what you can do. So this is where credit professionals can win massively, not by disputing harder, not by promising faster results, not by saying that you're doing all this work and this journey, but by repositioning yourself. You are a bar readiness partner. If you want to work with loan officers, that's what you are, a bar readiness partner, BRP. Okay. This means you support the loan process. Key word here, and we're going to dive into what this exactly means in that masterclass on Friday, but you support the loan process. Support, support, support. Keep that in mind. You don't compete with it. Okay. I don't know how many times I've had credit repair professionals tell a consumer, your loan officer doesn't know what they're talking about. We need to do it this way. That's competing. You don't want to do that because you don't understand what the loan officer and the reasoning why the loan officer said it. You have no idea. Okay. Unless you're a loan officer, you have no idea of why they did that. And even if you are a loan officer, you might not have any idea because each different lending institution has different overlays and different things that can or cannot happen in a loan file. There's very different tailored things, right? Like people have different issues that you might not be aware of as a credit professional because you're looking at the credit, you're not looking at the full picture. So just keep in mind, you don't want to compete with the loan officer. We'll teach you how to do that. You guide behavior, right? That's a really big thing. You guide behavior, help the consumer know, here's the things that we need to do, and I'm going to help you get through this, right? And you document the progress for you, for the loan officer, and for the borrower. Everybody should be on the same page of what's going on and how it's happening. And it should be transparent, very transparent. Keyword, transparent, very transparent to everybody that's in that process of what's going on. It needs to be transparent and everyone needs to know what's going on at all times. This is very important. Please don't keep that out. Loan officers don't want vendors. They don't want someone coming to them knocking on the door. Hey, refer your credit business to me. I'll get them mortgage ready, send them back to you. They don't want to hear that jazz. Okay, they don't. They're probably going to gatekeep you in the first place. They actually do want partners. This is where borrower readiness partnership is so very important. You can kind of rebrand yourself in that nature. Again, if your goal is to work with loan officers. So professional presentation. Now, I'm going to talk to you in the live on masterclass on Friday about professional presentation because I can talk all about how to be partners with loan officers and what matters, what doesn't matter in a loan and a credit file, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. I talk all about that, which I will. But I also want to talk about the presentation. The presentation and how you present to the loan officer is very, very important. They need to see in the presentation, number one, that you're professional. These are licensed professionals. They have classes that they have to take, mandatory CEs every year for 8 hours. They have a rigorous test that they have to take. And a lot of times when they go into working with a lender, that lender might put them through a very rigorous test that they have to complete. They have to get background checks. They have to get their credit file checked, all of these things on a consistent basis in order to keep their license. Okay. So if we're talking to someone that has to go through all of those things, we're talking to a professional. And in that respect, we need to be presenting in a professional manner to them. Right. And so that's really important. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to give you a template, a PowerPoint template that you can use to help build that professionalism and trust with the loan officers and how you can help them and become a partner with them, how you can present that to them. Because confidence will come from the clarity and structure that you put into this presentation. Okay. So that's something we'll do on Friday's masterclass, those of you who do attend. Because we want to show that you do have a process. That's important. That you understand the loan journey. That's important. And that you respect their workflow. Those are 3 key things that we need to make sure is in the PowerPoint presentation that we would be doing to those loan officers. Because if we can do those, and I'll say them again so you understand, we want to show you have a process. Very important. We're not just willy-nilly in this. We have a process, a process that is repeatable, a process that works, right? If I say you're here and you're going to get here, my process should make sure you get here, right? The outcome. So that you understand the loan journey. That's important. Are you trying to work with loan officers as a credit professional, but you don't even understand the loan journey? Doesn't work. They don't match up. Sorry, they don't match up. Just like level up score, we have 4 different primary goals in level up score, right? If I were to put someone through a buy a car goal when they actually want to buy a house, I might not get them there, right? So the same thing, I can be a credit professional of all things and never help this person actually get to a home loan. So we need to know the loan process. What's another way of saying that? If you think about an attorney, right? Attorney goes to school for knowledge about how to read legal documents and those kinds of things. But you're not going to go to a general attorney, would you? You wouldn't go to an attorney who says, I help everybody with all legal matters. Not true, because they can't. So you would go to an attorney that says, I help people with divorce. I help people with bankruptcy. You know what I'm talking about. So their degree allows them to do any kind of legal work, but they can't do all legal work, right? Because they wouldn't be knowledgeable enough in one area to really help you as an attorney. So if you ever heard an attorney go, I help everyone with every legal matter, then you know to run, right? Same thing with you guys as credit professionals. If a loan officer is up talking to you and you're like, yeah, I help everybody with all their credit issues. Anybody who has credit issues, I help the credit issues. I help credit issues. I help credit issues. I'm going to run from you because you don't know enough about this process for you to help me. And a lot of times you're probably going to hurt me in my process as a loan officer. So remember that it's really important. I talk about the niche all the time, and I talk about it helping you market better, how you can get more referrals. But let's be real. When you have a niche, you can be an expert in that one thing. Without it, oh, I do everything. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't. 100% you can't. Okay. And so, but when you position yourself as this is what I do and this is what I'm an expert at, it's amazing what you can do for your partnerships. Okay. And so we'll talk a lot about that on the Friday's master class. Um, how to present, how do you want to be perceived in this presentation? Because, what they see first is what they see. And so that's going to stick with them. And I think that a lot of times we're leaving a lot on the table when we don't have really clear presentations and understand those 3 things, have that process, understand the loan journey, respect their workflow. And guys, if you're out there and you're like, oh man, I've been wanting to work with loan officers all this time. And now that I'm listening to Allie, I feel like, oh, I shouldn't work with loan officers. This is going to be too hard. It's not too hard. I'm going to teach you how to do it. But there are certain things that you must do, But you also, I think, in my opinion, you need to dedicate to something. If it's working with loan officers, you're dedicating to work with loan officers, right? Because you want to be a very clear expert in that. Okay, let's talk more about that. Okay, that's on Friday, not today. So let me talk a little bit more about this masterclass because I'm so passionate about it. I've been a loan officer for 23 years. My husband's a realtor. So I got a lot of experience on how to work with loan officers and realtors because I've been that. I've worked in every different real estate type industry in my day. So it's been fun, and also in the lending world. And I'm also a credit professional. Okay. And so I can speak from a lot of experience in this, and that's why this is so passionate about me. So Friday, this is exactly what you're going to learn. You're going to learn on Friday how to work with loan officers, how truly work with loan officers and real estate agents, how to approach them, how to present to them with confidence. And we're going to have a marketing tool that we're going to use. So here's my pitch. In this training, I'm going to teach you how to talk to loan officers, how to partner with loan officers, and what loan officers really, really need, not want, need from you. Capital NEED. I promise you they need this. They don't always know that they need it, but they need it. They need this. Because if you partner with loan officers correctly, you become their key to massive success. That's why they need you. So let me repeat that. If you become a partner with a loan officer and you do it correctly, you become their key to massive success. And when that happens, they naturally become your key to massive success. This is not a theory for me. I'm a loan officer. and I've helped loan officers for the last 23 years. I understand how they get paid. I understand that clients get overwhelmed. I understand they procrastinate and they ghost you and they quit. So I understand the pressures that loan officers go through. I understand their timelines. And in this master class, I'm going to show you exactly what I did, how I positioned myself, how I partnered with loan officers, and how I built relationships that actually lasted. These are friendships that I have to this day that I've had for many, many years. And it's quite fun to watch the evolution of people that you've been in business with for so many years, because you did a great job for them, and you both supported each other in this really great partnership. So you became their key and they became your key. It's an amazing opportunity that I hope to help build for you. Now, this part is really important, so I want you to listen very, very closely if you want to get in on this master class. So to get the most out of Friday's masterclass, there is something you need to do. You either, number one, need to already be using Level Up Score, so I can show you what you need to do. Or I want you to sign up for your free demo account with Level Up Score before the training. So today. So you can do that by going to www.levelupscore.com. When you get to that webpage, you're going to see a thing that says sign up. Click the sign up button. It's free. You're not getting charged for nothing. You didn't do anything. Sign up. When you sign up, it's just going to ask you some basic information like your first name, last name, phone number, email, company name. It's then going to verify that it's a good working email. So you'll click into your email and verify that. Once you've completed that, you're going to be into the system and it's going to block you and it's going to say that you must get on a demo call with me about Level Up Score to proceed. This is important. I have a demo call tomorrow, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I need you to put that on your calendar because I need you to attend that demo call. And the reason for that is that's going to prepare you for Friday's masterclass so that it can be very powerful for you, so that you can leave that masterclass with something in your hand, some things in your hands that is actually going to help leverage this whole transition into you becoming that business partner with loan officers. Okay. So it's really important. So you're going to go to levelupscore.com, sign up for the free demo account. Once you do that, you're going to be blocked to get on a demo. I need you to register for the demo. I need you to be on the demo this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Very important. And then once you do that, obviously you need to register for the class. So if you scan this QR code, this is going to allow you to register for the class. Keep in mind, you can register for the class even before you did those things that I just told you should do. But trust me, you want to do those things too. Okay. Because the plan we're going to create in that demo on Friday is going to not just be an example, but it's going to be our marketing piece. It's going to be the piece that we need. It's the missing piece we need for that class. So I'm going to show you how to build the plan, walk a client through the plan, and use the plan in conversations with loan officers and realtors, and how to use it as a marketing piece. So, instead of explaining what you need to do, I'm going to show you, and you're going to show them, because that changes the entire conversation. When you have a marketing piece where you can show them what you do, it changes the entire conversation. So you're going to receive from me a PowerPoint template that you can use. You're going to have a marketing piece in your hand. I'm going to give you that live walkthrough of how I would use all that in clear positioning language you can use immediately when working with loan officers. And keep in mind, I'm going to tell you some things that you need to know to work with loan officers, like those key important, let's call them secrets, that you should know when working with a loan officer. It's really important information. I'm going to teach you that, but I'm going to have a lot of time that's just going to be question and answer time, where you as a credit professional can ask me as a loan officer questions, or me as a loan officer and credit professional questions about how I do things, what's important, all of those things. Any of those questions that you're popping up in your head right now, or have while you've been working with a client. How do I do this for a client that wants to get a mortgage? That's a class to be on. I will answer those questions. So if you've ever really, really, really wanted to work with loan officers and real estate agents and have partnerships with them, not one-offs, not maybes, not awkward tasks, but true professional relationships built on trust and outcomes, this training is for you. I promise you, you want to be there. You can comment masterclass and I'll send you all the details. including the link to grab your free demo account and all that to prepare for Friday, because the future of the industry isn't credit repair. I'll leave you with that. Thank you guys for being here for Tuesday's top tip. I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll see you on Friday's masterclass. Maybe I didn't say this. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. So Friday's masterclass is at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Block out your calendar. I promise you, if you want to work with loan officers, this is a class you do not want to miss. It is absolutely free. So there's no cost to this class. I want to see you succeed. Again, I do believe the future of this industry isn't credit repair, and I'll show you how to do that. Thank you and have a great day.